Morning, James. Could you talk about QAnon and the Save Our Children hashtag? An alarming number of reasonable people I know seem to be sharing a theory that 250,000 children from the UK vanish into child sex rings led by lefties, and Donald Trump is the answer. Now, you'd have laughed at that, wouldn't you? Not too many years ago, but now you know it is true. And another one, this from Michael, who's in Liverpool. Hello, James. Everywhere I go, and a lot of people that I meet are talking about QAnon, child trafficking, child abuse, and the pandemic being used against us. Some even believe the virus is fake, but nobody in the media seems to be addressing any of the above subjects. I kind of get that the reply to the question is that none of it's true, it's all nonsense and doesn't deserve airtime, yet everyone is still talking about it, and its absence from mainstream media, in my opinion, just fans the flames of these stories. In my opinion, it's all very confusing. Could be part of a joint Chinese and Russian plan to fill our social media with half-truths and complete sensationalism. Maybe you could speak of this subject today at 12. I bet my bottom dollar it will be very interesting listening. And there, I touched on this yesterday, didn't I? That there is, once again, the problem of our ages, in that both of these correspondents are right. This absolute nonsense is growing in both popularity and reach, and those of us in what you might call traditional media don't know what to do. I heard Radio 4 having a crack at the QAnon story not long ago, and I think they did a fairly good job, but how do you report nonsense? It's a challenge for the ages. I mean, failing to report nonsense properly explains why we got Brexit and Donald Trump. Now, I know a lot of people listening to this still don't recognise that they were bad things, particularly with regard to Brexit. I think you'd have to be putting in quite a shift to cling to the notion that Donald Trump isn't an utterly depraved disaster. But, of course, people find it very hard to admit that they're wrong. That would be the only reason why anyone would still be pretending that he's anything other than hideous, and on every imaginable level: personal, political, professional, moral. And yet you have this sort of continuing confusion about how you report nonsense. So I shall give it some thought during my holiday, and may have a crack at this subject, which I need to find out a little bit more about when I get back. But that would be certainly, at a very quick glance at your suggestions of things that we might want to talk about, that would be worryingly high on the list. And it's a bit like, and I imagine the crossover here is huge, it's a bit like right at the beginning of the crisis, when I told you that the number of mates of mine from back in the day were getting in touch to ask about phone masts and 5G, because exactly as those two correspondents just suggested, because the kind of people that they were seeing talking it up were not the kind of people that actually wore tinfoil hats and sort of walked around in 8 pairs of socks because they were frightened of some unknown toe-eating monster. Do you know what I mean? But then, of course, you've got the fellow who thinks the Queen's a lizard, enjoying a bit of a boost in popularity as well. I do not know, is the easy way of saying it. I do not know how to report things that are believed but also complete pants. Vaccines would be perhaps the earliest example of that, or climate change. But this is where it's led us, to a place where significant numbers of people believe demonstrable underpants. And people like me who do this for a living, and I'm not alone, haven't really got a clue how to handle it.